Hey, hola, bom dia, todos. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel, and podcast. And I was lying in bed last night thinking to myself, I'm going to learn how to say all of that in Portuguese, which I haven't obviously done like since then, but I will do. I will do as we plow on with our Portuguese language learning. And I'm so delighted to tell you. Do you remember Filomena, who came with us, came onto the show a couple of weeks ago? Really popular guest, really good fun to have on the show. She wants to come back, and she'll be with us on Friday to discuss the difference between com licença and desculpa, or desculpa, as people say here in Portugal. And I say that a lot. British people love to say sorry and apologize constantly for their very being on this earth, I think. Okay, and we'll be learning the difference between com licença, which is excuse me, and sorry, desculpa or desculpa, which, yeah, I mean, people use those interchangeably, but we're going to find out whether you should do that really in Portuguese. I see a lot of people are here already. How lovely. Peter is here, the unofficial ambassador of Castanheira de Pera, and a very good morning, a very good morning from a rapidly warming Castanheira de Pera. That's very good. A very good morning from a rapidly warming. We're going to look at the weather. Because weather's getting exciting at the moment, isn't it? The storms, how did you get on with those storms? That's my first question for you. How are the storms where you were? Peter had some cracking time-lapse photography of the lightning. That was really impressive. Friend him up on Facebook if you want to know anything about Castanheira de Pera. I'm pimping you out there, Peter, as the ambassador. But he does such good work and is so proud of his part of Portugal, like a model expat, you could say. Hola, bon dia, highs of 37, lows of 23 in Villa de Rey. That should do nicely. That's the sort of weather where you wash your shirt and hang it up on the line and it's ready to wear by the time you get out of the shower. Owen, as he likes to do. Bon dia, Carl, from a very sunny Peniche. You've moved up to Peniche now, Claire and Steve. How is it there this morning? Probably pretty glorious. I know Peniche gets a bit of a sea fog, doesn't it, first thing in the morning? So has that cleared yet? Or is that Nazaré? I mean, they're pretty much similar sort of latitude, aren't they? Let us know how it's going in Peniche this morning, you guys. And hola bon dia from Paul Williams. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing? Getting excited now? What storms? Is that like a sarcastic what storms, or did they completely pass you by? That's one of my questions for you today, because I want to do a bit of market research, actually. I want to find out who's here and how and why. And just because you're not listening live necessarily, do let us know whether you are in Portugal already or are thinking about it. Okay, that would be really great to find out where you're at. Are you here already? I know some of you are, but I don't know everybody and their particulars. So it'd be really, really great if you could let me know. Are you thinking of coming here, or are you already here? And do that, on the podcast comments, or email me even, carl@carlmunson.com, or on the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment there as well. Good to know who we're talking to. On the matter of lightning, the lightning storm here started the fire on the top of Serra da Luzon, which took the life. Yeah, I heard about that. That was really bad, really sad news that an experienced firefighter, by the sound of it, was let down by the communications rather than some other, letdown or breakdown in the situation there. Seemed to be a communications error, sadly. Yeah, really grim and terrible news. I'm sure that's cast quite a shadow over there, Peter, in your part of the world there. Sad news. Castelo Branco, storm, beautiful. I stayed up in my love shack. Get on and watched most of the night. Amazing. Lightning. Good morning. Yeah, it went on and on, didn't it? Certainly where we were, we had thunder, lightning and rain, and it started, I don't know, it must have started late afternoon and went on into the evening, late into the night. It was quite extraordinary. Bon dia, Carl, from Maria and Calvin. Calvin Avery thinks your Portuguese isn't quite as good as his. Well, let's have a Portuguese off then, shall we? Let's have a Portuguese showdown, Calvin Avery, with you. I think that's Maria just trying to stir it up a little bit there. But I'm up for it. I'm up for a Portuguese off. How we do that, I don't know. Any suggestions on how two alpha males proving themselves with their Portuguese skills? Most welcome in the comments. How might we do that? A Portuguese duel? Something along those lines. Prosecco is just a thing for a morning like that. It's Prosecco Peggy, everybody. She's here and she's saying Good Lord, it's muito calor. Yes, which of course, yes, Calvin. Do you know what muito calor is? Muito calor is it's very hot already. Just after 9 o'clock Monday morning, and it's hot. We're gonna delve deeper into the weather. I'm going to tell you about the high temperatures across all districts, which is going to give you a geography lesson in case you don't know about the districts of Portugal. And I know some of you Algarve-centric people think the Algarve is Portugal. Do you know what, Algarve folks? There are, in fact, 19 other districts in Portugal, which may come as news to you, or even you Lisboa and Porto-centric people. A bit of education about the districts of Portugal and the two autonomous regions, of course. So, yeah, what storms? No storms here at all, and no sea mist this morning, but did have yesterday. Okay. Yeah, the storms were on Saturday night. That's not really rubbish weather reporting from me. I think it's all cleared up now, and we're looking forward to some really high temperatures today. Back to Peggy. Nothing but hot sun and blue skies in the Algarve. All right. From Eloise. And I must, she reminds me with her very presence here on the live stream this morning. Eloise has selected our next wine for the wine club. Do join us for that next Saturday evening. And it is a rather... what should we say? It's quite an investment this time. A Cartuja DOC from the Alentejano Branco, from a white. We've done mainly red wines, haven't we, so far? And this time, next Saturday, we are having a Cartuja, which is from the Quinta de Valbon, an Évora district wine, an Alentejo Branco. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's a little bit on the pricey side, more than I would normally spend, but I am really looking forward to investing and spending that much and just seeing what the difference is and savouring it under the excellent leadership of Miss Healy. Here, Miss Healy. Hola, bon dia from a very beautiful Panella this morning. Good morning to you, Eloise. And thank you for making that selection for us, which is available. If you want that, what we tend to do is get a wine that's fairly easy to find, and you'll be able to find that in Continent. Join up with us on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club community. That seems to be where all the action is. We do have a page, but most of the fun, I think, happens in the community, the group of the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Peggy, Prosecco Peggy, even my pool was 38 degrees yesterday. Wow. Do they make air conditioners for pools? Problem with many of those inventions is they qualify for a Darwin Award, I think, when people started dropping air conditioners into pools. Peggy, be careful with that stuff. Leave it to the professionals. Hi, Carl, back from our anniversary weekend. Oh, okay. I hope you had a lovely time. How many years? Packing for our trip home. Yes, come on, you guys. We are rooting for you here. Mrs. M, as well as serving me strawberries and tomatoes from the balcony this morning. It is really hot here. I mean, it's 25 degrees here already in Korea, in the Aveiro district. Yeah, she promised me a glass of water, so I'm hoping that's coming soon. Sorry I missed you all last week. I wasn't well. Peggy, what happened? I must say, over the weekend, I felt a bit sort of under the weather. Yeah, which wasn't a difficult thing to do with the sort of weather we had. But yeah, what's going on for us lot? Sorry I missed you all last week. I wasn't well, says Peggy. So I hope you're better now. Sounds like it, Peggy. And what was the miracle cure for you? Presumably Prosecco played a part in that. Yes, there may be other provinces, but they are not as important as us. She will not let it lie, that woman. She's a stirrer, isn't she? Oh, that will be a good one. Scupa Colony Sensor. Yeah, that is the difference we're looking at on Friday with the return of Filomena. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. She's great fun to have on the show. And, yeah, Desculpa and Colony Sensor will be explored. It is the Friday phone-in, of course, so you can ring in with your... we'll have a sort of Portuguese language clinic, basically, on Friday. Phone in or leave questions in the comments on Friday for Filomena. Morning, Carl. We're getting our motorhome ready today after nearly 4 months of staying at the villa. We are going to stop over in the grounds at the house we are buying near São Brás de Portel. Why? Asks Dawn. Listening for barking dogs, traffic noise, people noise, sunset, sunrise. We must listen and look. Advice from a friend and neighbor who lives here. Very exciting times. Excellent. Yes, getting the lie of the land, your land, by the sound of it, Dawn. That is good advice, actually. Veronica, I'm just thinking that I should get out of bed. Lady of leisure, a lol there. That kind of lol. Dawn, that is the best thing to do. Yeah, and I think that's responding to Dawn's stopover. Well, Carl, location. All right, Peggy, we get the idea that you like the Algarve. We'll be looking at other districts. Other districts are available in Portugal. Muito calor in Miranda de Corvo. Here she is herself, Filomena Pascal. I don't know if you heard me bigging you up, Filomena, which is a good thing, if in case you're not familiar with that particular idiom. We're looking forward to your return on Friday. If you want to ask her any questions, she's here now, folks. Seize upon her expertise. Okay, and finally, before we go to the weather, we will come back to your comments, obviously, but just to have a little break from the comments and do the weather. Talking of being an ambassador of the community here, our neighbour's niece has asked if she can do her thesis on the community here in our village of Pera. A great idea, I think. Absolutely. The future is local, Pete. The future. Can I call you Pete, or is it Peter? Do you prefer? I mean, some people would like to be a David rather than a Dave, a Stephen rather than a Steve. Are you a Pete or a Peter, I wonder? Because sometimes we put our official name on Facebook, even though we're referred to as a shortened or more familiar form. Let me know. I don't want to be making a diplomatic problem with the unofficial ambassador of Castanera de Pera. Okay, let's have a look at that weather. And I'm going to put on the screen, look, if you're looking at a smartphone, this might be a bit difficult. If you're looking at your laptop or your tablet, you can possibly, no, you can't zoom in on a live video, can you? But there you go. We're going to work through these districts with the high temperatures in the respective districts for you as I look at my electronic seaweed to tell you what the weather is going to be like for the rest of the week, and if there are any interruptions to the relentless calor of the weather in Portugal this week. And as I said, it's got to the levels where expats are now moaning. They came here for the weather, and now it's too hot. Some of them, not all of you. Lisboa, we are looking at 23 currently, with a high of 33. And the high for the rest of the week, is going to touch 33 on Thursday. And these are the more familiar districts to you. And then we'll go into the lesser known afterwards thereafter. And you can see from the screen where they are in the country. Porto, currently 22. A slight interruption to the sunny service tomorrow. Tuesday, we'll have some cloud, but we'll return to a high of 30 by Thursday. Temperatures dropping towards the weekend, however, maybe for next week. Coimbra, 35 today. And it will be a bit of cloud tomorrow, but a high of 37 by Friday is forecast. Faro, for you, especially for you, Peggy, 23 at the moment, high of 28. Actually, not as hot as the rest of the country, with a high of 30 by Friday. And it looks like, you have to take weather forecasting with a pinch of salt, because she's obviously had higher temperatures than that, splitting the slabs of the swimming pool by the sound of it. So let's go into this geography lesson and meteorological updates combined. Excellent service, I would like to thank, for you here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. Aveiro, 21 degrees currently, 29 to look forward to today, and 31 by Friday, a cloudy day tomorrow, Tuesday. Beja, 39-degree high today, and it's going to be up and around those sort of temperatures for the rest of the week, with 39 on Thursday, cooling slightly as the week progresses. Braga, even up there in the north, right? We are looking at 24 at the moment, high of 35 and 37 by Friday, a cloudy day tomorrow. So a little bit of cloud across the country tomorrow. Castelo Branco, where Debbie Dews has reported in from this morning, 36 degrees tomorrow with cloud, 36 degrees today without cloud, and a high of 38 by Friday of this week. Evora, where our wine club wine is coming from for Saturday night, 25 currently, high of 38, and a high of 38 on Thursday and Friday. Leiria, the district of Leiria, 32 to look forward to today. 34 by Thursday. Santarém, 25 at the moment. 37 will be the high. 38 degrees by Thursday. All in the 30s in Santarém. It's a fascinating district, Santarém. Viseu, the temperature currently 23. A high of 34 today and rising steadily throughout the week. A cloudy day tomorrow, but 34, 35, 35, 32, get the picture for Viseu. Bragança, 20 degrees currently, rising to 32 degrees. Now, are some of you thinking, I don't know about Bragança or Guarda or Porto Alegre, but Guarda, 20 currently, 31 the high today, and hot temperatures in the 30s for the rest of the week in Guarda, as well as in the aforementioned Bragança. Highs of 35 to look forward to next weekend. Porto Alegre, which I believe is Alentejo, the region of Alentejo rather than the district. It can get a bit complicated, can't it? Because most of us know the regions, don't we, as tourists and expats, rather than the kind of legislative districts, 20 thereof, plus the 2 autonomous regions of the islands. But Porto Alegre, 26 currently, rising to 36 today, and well into the 30s, nearly 40-degree temperatures in Porto Alegre this week. Cloudy day tomorrow, but 38 by Friday. Wow. Setúbal, or Setúbal. 34 degrees high today, 32 midweek, and still in the 30s a week by the weekend, and no cloud there forecast. Viana do Castelo, I bet not many of you heard of that district. Tell me if you do know. Tell me if you have toured around Portugal and you've been to a lesser-known district, like the Costa Verde, or what's it called, Trás-os-Montes. Tell me about these lesser-known parts and what you enjoyed about being there. 21 degrees in Viana do Castelo today, 28 to look forward to. Cloudy day tomorrow, but rising up towards 30 by Friday. Oh, another cup of Joe. Morning, Cup of Joe is here. Thank you, Mrs. M. Thanks for the strawberry and the tomato treat earlier on. Villarreal, 22 degrees currently, and big temperatures. I can hear the Donald Trump voice in my head saying big numbers. 34 degrees today and rising to 36 by the weekend in Villarreal. And that is up in the north of Portugal. Who'd have thought? The Azores. Okay, so finally into the autonomous regions. I hope you've enjoyed this geography lesson of Portugal. The Azores, 20 currently, high of 25. A little bit of cloud over there as you get. And temperatures in the 20s, mid-20s for the Azores. And finally, Madeira, 15 degrees. Kind of cooler in Madeira in every sense. If you talk to Madeirans, they love their island. And it's 15 degrees at the moment, rising to 21, but fairly low temperatures by the rest of the country's standards, with a high of 23 by the weekend. So there you go. That's your weather and your geography lesson. Let's go and have a look. Peter is fine being called Pete. Ana Lucia, what's the temperature like in London, where I think you might be? Ana Lucia, we have a lot of Portuguese language influence this morning from both Ana Lucia and, of course, Philomena. Thank you for tuning in this morning, Ana Lucia. I really missed you, but every morning when my reminder alarm went off, I just couldn't get out of bed, says Prosecco Peggy. And yeah, I know the feeling. I'm just lucky to have you lot that helps me get out of bed of a morning. But I do know that feeling. That happened to me yesterday, Peggy. I don't know what's going on. Is it what's going on in the world at the moment? The turbulent times that we're living in. Talking of turbulent times, check out the excellent End Times Nation show. Run and presented by this man, Chris Patterson. Chris Paradox, you may know him as well. Hola, bon dia. Is this a Portuguese colloquialism that we're not familiar with yet, Chris? Hola, bon dia. Eve. Oh, I see. This is about our charity single that we're thinking about, Ebony and Ivory. He's calling me Ivory. I thought it was a Portuguese word I hadn't encountered as yet. Okay. Hola, bon dia, Ebony, if I may call you that. That feels a bit weird. Viana do Castelo area is beautiful. We spent 3 weeks there last year, enjoying the coast. I'm still chuckling about that, Chris. Enjoying the coast, seafood, architecture, and culture. Was even thinking of moving up there. Yeah, you see, this is what we need to know. Understandably, people are sort of hurdle, aren't they? We're certainly finding out about that at the moment. People are quite hurdle in their thinking and their behaviour. And there's all of the rest of Portugal to discover, and a lovely bit of feedback about Viana do Castelo. And this is what happens in Portugal, is that you visit somewhere, you think, I could live here. You visit somewhere else, I could live here too. And on it goes. But yeah, that's really great, Peter, to hear about Viana do Castelo there. Calvin says, Maria said I have to make my comments from my own phone. We'll have a go on Saturday. If our predictions are anything to go by, we won't do well. Calvin there, he is our sports genius, referring to the Expat Sport Report, which we do on a Saturday morning. I am no sports genius. I know very little about sport. Very nerdy in that respect. Not nerdy as in I know a lot, but nerdy as in I focused on other things as a boy. Don't know much about sport. A real disappointment to my father. But Calvin is like my surrogate sporty dad. I don't know. He won't like me referring to him like that. But it's great to be in the company of men on a Saturday morning from 10 o'clock. Do join us if you enjoy the company of men and talking about sport. or just the company of men, or just the sport, whatever. Expat Sport Report, Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock. Thank you, Calvin. Yes, we'll see how we get on with both our football predictions, our Premiership predictions, and our Portuguese language skills as well. Yes, says Chris. It's ebony and ivory. Living together, me and Chris, living together in perfect harmony, as you can see there. Yelders, I think he calls us, young elders, showing the young uns how it's possible, how we can hold hands across the racial divide. Okay, sorry, that's a bit of an in-joke, but if you watch the End Times Nation that Chris presents, that's 8 o'clock weekdays on his Facebook Live, Chris Paradox. It's a very interesting insight into the times we're living in and Chris's unique take on all of that, as well as the End Times Nation community. So big up to all of them and their endeavors right now. Okay, I've got some really, really good news to share with you. You're still making me chuckle, Chris. This is fabulous. Okay, I've got a double dose of good news for you this morning. Dolphins spotted in the Tejo. Talk about the end times. Let me see if I can share this with you on the screen. Two really great stories from the Portugal resident newspaper. Dolphins delight in Tejo waters thanks to pandemic. Now, is it really thanks to the pandemic that this is happening? I suppose in a sense it is, but it's because we're not like polluting the water, and we're not, we're allowing the dolphins. We're not dominating the dolphins. Let's put it that way. So dolphins delight in Tejo waters thanks to pandemic. We could see it that way. This is the wonderful Natasha Don, who I find myself reading most when it comes to reading articles from the English-speaking Portuguese press. I tend to read a lot of Natasha Don's work. So really grateful to you, Natasha. This from the 12th of July. Thanks to the pandemic, which has essentially stopped cruise ships and dramatically reduced passenger ferries from coming and going into the capital, dolphins are returning to the Tejo River. Says a report by Reuters. It's one aspect of these difficult times that is putting a smile on people's faces. Lisbon Council has uploaded some heartwarming images on its social media page saying, we've all heard the stories about the dolphins of the Tejo that used to swim here. Well, now they're back. Yeah, you'll see on the iconic April 25th bridge in Lisbon, there's a mural on some of the what are they, the foundation blocks of the bridge. People have drawn dolphins on there, and it's kind of sad thing, isn't it? It's what humans do. It's like there aren't any dolphins here anymore, but so we'll draw a picture instead, isn't it? It's a bit like a street called, Acacia Avenue, where there used to be trees, and that's such a human and slightly, it's full of pathos, that, isn't it? The idea that, we call things what they used to be. But actually, the real dolphins are back in the Tejo, folks. So it says here, we've all heard the stories about the dolphins of the Tejo that used to swim here. Well, now they're back. The constraints of the pandemic has seen the quality of the estuary waters improve and the river win new life, with one particular friendly pod of dolphins now regular visitors. Well, fair enough. So no more cruise ships and not so many ferries. What are we going to go with? What's the new normal going to be? Is the new normal going to be delighting in the beauty of dolphins in the river, or just brush over that? And we've got to stoke up the economy, bring those cruise ships back in, and chase off the dolphins. And human thinking tells you, doesn't it? Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll start a dolphin park and put dolphins in cages on the banks of the Tejo so that we can have the best of both worlds. No, come on, let's keep this up, guys. This upside of the pandemic, if that's indeed what it is marvelous. And this is allowing us to take a good, hard and long look at ourselves and make our priorities the right ones. The nice bit of virtue signaling from me there. The constraints of the pandemic has seen the quality. Oh yeah, we've done that bit. Marine biologist Francisco Martino tells Reuters it's not just because the river is more peaceful that the dolphins have returned. Okay. He describes various groups being seen regularly, something involving dozens of dolphins. It's because there are now more fish than usual for them to eat. Yeah. I mean, we do sometimes like to think of the dolphin as a bit of a new agey mammal that's all peace loving, but they do like a tear up and they love eating other fish. But, I was going to say live and let live, which isn't entirely appropriate, but yeah, that's the reality. They're coming back for the fish to eat in the Tejo, and why not? A bit like the images of animals everywhere venturing into residential areas when the world went into lockdown. Yes, bears, deer, snakes. The development shows how nature always comes back if we just ease up on all the frantic progress. Now, that is a fantastic concluding paragraph. Short and sweet and absolutely bang on about where we're at in the world right now. A bit like the images of animals everywhere venturing into residential areas when the world went into lockdown. The development shows how nature always comes back if we just ease up on all the frantic progress. That is my favorite sentence of that piece. Thank you, Natasha. And it would behove us, would it not, humans, to have a little bit of a ponder on that and see what else might be possible. But not only dolphins in the Tejo, guys, we have the end of nighttime olive harvesting. Even better news, possibly. Hold on a minute. Before we go to that, though, Peter, hold on. Ferries. We're going to do Ferries Casa del Dia today. I'm glad he's here because he can give us a bit of a commentary while we're doing it. Peter Wilton Davis, do not talk nonsense. You are married to Coentral Castanera de Pera. I don't know what that's referring to, but Ferry giving Pete a bit of a talking to in the comments. Lol, Traj Ajmange is translated. Is that my pronunciation you're laughing at? Yeah, okay. Is translated behind the mountains, which means you in the sticks. Rural, like movies they make of hills have eyes. Lol, temperature is 18 degrees in UK, overcast and miserable. So sorry to hear that, Anna Lucia. Here we are, all us expats enjoying the hot temperatures in your country, and you having to enjoy ours, some of ours anyway, at 18 degrees and overcast. You have our severe and extreme condolences. Maybe Ferry should buy a house in Viana de Castelo so he can go and stay there once he's sold his house in Castanera de Pera. Good plug for that. We will be looking at that after we've looked at the end of killer harvesting of olives. This was horrific, and I shared this with you some time ago about the nighttime harvesting. This is bonkers human behavior, and there are reasons for it, which we'll go into in just a moment. Let's share this screen, and let me have a quick sip of coffee for a moment. Just mute up so you won't hear me. Unmute that mic. And we don't want to associate Pete and Ferry with this horrible idea. So we'll take take the comments off and just let you see this for a moment. Let this sink in, because this is actually great news, but it's great news about something that should never have happened in the first place. Excuse me. I'm getting excited here. Following efforts by conservationists, the government has banned all suction olive harvesting. Think about that for a moment. How grim is that? Suction olive harvesting that used to take place at night, particularly in the orchards in the Alentejo. And we have this idyllic view of the Alentejo, don't we, by day? You know, cornfields, sunflower fields, and just the majestic beauty of the rolling hills of the Alentejo. The practice, this nighttime suction harvesting, habitually vacuumed to death thousands of songbirds as they sheltered in the olive trees on their migratory journeys. So can you imagine? You've got beautiful birds making their migratory journey. They think, oh, there's a tree. I'll just have a kip in that tree. You know, just sit out the evening and the night, and then I'll be on my way. Along comes one of these, like, I don't know, Armageddon, apocalyptic death machines that is sucking olives off the trees and kills them all. A national study concluded that nocturnal harvesting causes significant bird mortality. I mean, that's just sort of, you know, I don't know, dancing around the issue. This is like birdicide. Forgive me, I don't know the right. This is just killing birds. Significant bird mortality. Come on, call it what it is. This is just the murdering of birds unnecessarily, just to get cheap olive oil, right? And olive production. And that mitigation measures tested, including the deliberate scaring of birds, proved ineffective. We'll scare the birds out of the trees that are trying to sleep so that we can suck the olives off the trees with our great big hoover. I despair, but not for long. The situation was splashed across the media last year when birdguides.com, good on you birdguides.com, broke the news that millions of birds were being slaughtered across the Mediterranean region, not just Portugal, because of suction harvesting. Among horrendous projected death tolls in the olive growing regions, it was estimated that 96,000 birds were dying every winter in Portugal alone. It's disgusting. The Portuguese decision follows a similar move in Spain. Well done, Spain, as well. and has seen the ICNF, the Forestries Institute. Sorry, I thought that was Portuguese. The Forestries Institute. I was trying to say that English word in a Portuguese accent. Forestries. Pledged to ramp up inspections of olive farms between October this year and March 2021 in order to ensure that farmers are complying. I'm pretty sure you can tell fairly easily whether farmers are vacuuming their olive trees at night, right? And I hope they're not, and I hope this ban holds up, because that is disgraceful. So shout out to the dolphins, shout out to the migratory birds. Fantastic news. Keep it up, humans. Let's see what we can do. Wow, I don't know what you think of that. I'm sure your comments will be here in the comments on the screen. Let's put a few up. And so pleased, says Joseph, about the nighttime harvesting being over. Me too. I was so glad to see that. And he adds there, oh no, another member of the family, Julie Marsh, says, morning from I bet it is hot in Fundao. Great thunderstorm Saturday evening. I can imagine the pictures from your terrace there, from your balcony, Julie, as you sipped on the legendary Mathieu's watching the thunderstorm. When are olives harvested? Asked Dawn. I think that's late summer here. Late summer, possibly autumn, but don't quote me on that, Dawn. I'm sure somebody better able to comment on that will in just a moment. So let us conclude now. We haven't done this for a while, and I really don't know whether you like the Casa de Dia feature. I do. I think it's very interesting. It's kind of like property porn, isn't it? You know, where you kind of look at someone else's house and you see what's going on, and it's nice to look at interesting properties. I mean, I don't just look at any old place. I look at what I think are interesting places, you know, off-gridders, or places in very interesting locations. The potential to do the happy homesteading dream, basically. That's the sort of Casa de Dia I look at. I don't know how much the one we're going to look at in just a moment fits in, but a word from Will. Good morning to you, Will. Lovely to have your company. Good news about the olive harvest. Absolutely. And I have been waiting for its return. Oh, the Casa de Dia he's talking about, not the olive harvesting or the dolphins. So let's do that then. Let me know. I mean, you know, what sort of should I do it? Should I not do it? What sort of properties do you want to see? Today is Ferry's house, who I believe may still be tuned in. So let's well, you regulars will know what happened there. I clicked on the Casa de Dia. I'll try it again. Hopefully it won't happen to me a second time, but sometimes it's just all too much for the tech. And so I clicked on the Casa de Dia. Maybe it's the technology telling me not to do the Casa de Dia. Should I take that as a sign? Okay, better luck this time. Casa Ribiera. This is in Castanera de Pera, the much talked about on this show, Castanera de Pera. The district, if you were listening before, La Area is the district. Another fascinating, Santarém and La Area, I think, are really diverse districts. Well worth a look if you're thinking of an expat and settling here. Renovated house, 2 guest cottages, workshop, ruin, land, and 1 hectare and riverside. Yes, indeed. This is the best of all worlds. This, I would say, if you've got 235,000 euros, is a great kind of bolt hole, lovely part of Portugal. We will dive deeper into the pictures in just a moment, but you've got everything here, I would say. A fully renovated main house with 3 stories, ready to move into. So you won't have any work to do, which is a blessing. Let me tell you, as somebody who's taken something of a renovation route. 2 guest cottages, workshop, shed with a new roof, and a ruin with residential destination. Okay, I think that's a tourism reference. Riverside garden, telephone, electricity and water are present. 1 hectare of riverside land. Now that is especially interesting. The river beaches of Portugal are just so special. This spacious set of properties is ideal to run a B&B. So you buy a business basically here as well. Self-catering holiday business set on the edge of a small tranquil village situated on the banks of the river that runs all year. Great. This green heart of Portugal in the hills of the Serra de Luzão Mountains is an ideal location for hiking and exploring nature. 7 kilometers from Castanera de Pera. You get to meet Pete every day in the bar, and have aguardente to start the day with him. with a large swimming pool complex and the biggest wave machine in Portugal. That's not the property, that's Castanheira de Pera. I didn't know it had the biggest wave machine in Portugal. Main house, the upper 2 stories are currently used as private accommodation with a large lounge, 8x5, and kitchen. That would be meters, I'm guessing. This 3rd story has 2 bedrooms with their own 2 bathrooms. Look at this, luxurious. The ground floor has a bar room and 2-person apartment with double bed and bathroom. It has a private entrance. The guest cottages, separate properties located next to the main house. One cottage has room for 5 people and affords modern conveniences whilst retaining its original charm with beautiful beam ceiling of wooden floor. The other cottage is suited for a small family. There is a double bedroom on the ground floor with bathroom. An oak staircase leads upstairs with an open kitchenette, dining and lounge area and double bed. It also has a private terrace. There is a splash pool with a deck, but that needs to be renovated. And there, if we could see that map, would show you the location of that property. This is with Pure Portugal, our pals at pureportugal.co.uk. Let's have a look at a few of these photos. And there's the exterior, fine-looking residence, and you can see a couple of the terraces there. Oh, look at that. You step into, that's the bar area. Fantastic. With the dartboard. So you could have it to yourself, couldn't you? You could think, I'm not bothering with B&B. I want this playground all to myself and to my friends and family. Look at that with that river frontage. And we've just bought ourselves at 235,000 euros. Just a lovely place to live in central Portugal in the green heart, as I think Ferry must have described it. Look, a lot of original features there. Beautiful mullioned doorway there and some great interior pics. Not suitable for a polyamorous relationship with only 2 sinks. I've been watching this program called Trigonometry, which explores like a 3-way relationship. It's a fascinating bit of TV drama made by the BBC. And there's this scene where they're away at a hotel and it just has 2 sinks, which obviously for them would have needed 3 sinks. But if you're a polyamorous couple, that's not right. If you're a polyamorous setup, you might need to add extra sinks. Just saying. And there, look, beautiful, lovely, well specified, lovely place, this ferry. Shouldn't be too much trouble, I would have thought, selling this. Do add in the comments any other things you want to say about your delightful property here. I'm loving the terrace. Really nice place. You've got a business. Look at that. I don't know if that's near to the property. I'm guessing that is not far from the property, and that is the river frontage. We'll leave it on that lovely view. Suffice to say that it is Foxtrot Echo Romeo 235. Casa Ribeira is the reference on Pure Portugal. I do love their little banner here, look, because the chicken has a little peck of the ground every now and then. There you go. And yeah, follow that up on pureportugal.co.uk. Live in it yourself or run a business as and when tourism picks up, or do something a little bit different, you know, retreats, whatever. You've got the lot, I would say, there in a fabulous location in Portugal. So let's conclude now. And let's see, just a final few comments. I hope you enjoyed that, Owen. And I have sent you some photos of Ferry's house. We've got more photos if you need them. What a brilliant service this is. He is listening, is old Ferry. I wonder how he feels about being described like that. Have a look at the aerial photos I sent to your private inbox. Check me out. I'm getting private photos. No, I'm getting aerial photos sent to my private inbox. And there you go. Yeah, there's the link. He's put it in. It should sell itself, says Ferry. He won't have. He can just sit in the bar all day sipping cold beer whilst that place sells itself. Because as you can see, absolutely lovely. Asaf, hopefully you've got the links you need there. Great to have your company here today, Asaf El Khara. I wonder if I've pronounced that correctly. I do run the gauntlet and lay myself open, don't I, to ridicule every morning. But I do it gladly here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream, the YouTube channel and the podcast, of course. Thank you for your company today. Really enjoyed it today. Lovely to be able to share some good news for you that is allowing Mother Nature to hold us in her bosom and for us to see that that is the right way forward. Is it not, to be held in Mother Nature's bosom and work in harmony with nature as happy homesteaders, rather than go back to all that crazy capitalist stuff that got us into trouble in the first place, you might say. If I have not melted into a puddle, I'll see you tomorrow. Get that Prosecco in the freezer, Peggy. Keep yourself cool. And we do look forward to your company tomorrow. So take care, everybody. It is a phrase I don't often say. I mean, I've been saying te mania, I've been saying te logo, I've been saying ciao. I don't say te já very often. So I'll throw a te já your way today. Wish you well. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.